Alright, time now is 7:28 a.m. in the morning. I slept from 2:30 to 11:15. It's 7:15. I fell asleep at around 2:30. I went to bed a little bit earlier, I think. Not around that time. So, yeah, a little bit less than 5 hours. Kind of sleepy and also extremely cold. I didn't sleep well at all. Like, I kept having dreams, and I don't know, it's just not a very good feeling. I actually almost cried before I went to bed, like before I fell asleep, because I was thinking about Mary, and I was thinking about, like, I don't know, man. Like, I was listening to a lot of music from Sonny Boy, and one of the scenes in Sonny Boy is basically going back to the school and then singing the school song. And that reminded me of me when I sung the school song with my classmates. And the memory of it is just so sad. But anyways, I don't have a lot of time now. I'm gonna have to leave this house in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go out, grab a yogurt, eat it, call it a day. And or maybe not even. Like, maybe I'm just gonna skip breakfast, grab a peanut bar or something, and save the yogurt for later, maybe. Oh my god, this room is so fucking cold. Like, Jesus Christ. Alright, it's 7:40 a.m. It's a good thing that I live close to the CMD, because otherwise it would have been 6 something a.m. right now, and it would have been even worse. But yeah, I skipped breakfast. I packed everything, really. Packed a peanut butter bar. I packed a water bottle, wallet. My mask is on. New double layered mask. Alright, let's go there. Let's go. Let's go to school. Let's do it. Man, there's like no one on the street. Right, I'm early by 14 minutes. All right, time now is 12:40. Okay. Amazing. Holy shit. So I had an amazing class today. It was amazing from front to back. In fact, I kind of like this class a little bit more than the last one now, than the Wednesday one. Even though the Wednesday one, there's a Hong Konger and there's a Chinese dude whom I have a connection with. But holy crap. I'm gonna talk more a little, but right now I need to find lunch, and I've thought about this actually. Do I want to cook lunch myself or buy lunch? Now, I can cook, but I don't have a lot of food and I need to think. But if I buy lunch, yeah, it's a little expensive, but in Hong Kong, back in the secondary school days, I go out and eat lunch every single day, and it's whatever, you know? So, why not? So, I originally wanted to go to Cafe Rousseau, except I just realized that they don't offer food, they only offer coffee. So, I'm gonna go to Starbucks. That's the plan. And buy takeout, come back home, eat it. Alright, so we're walking to Starbucks. So let's talk about today. Holy shit, man. I've never, in all my life, alright? In all my life, I've never been this social before. I just speak to people like I just speak so much that at the end of the class, like near the end, when the professor wanted to pick some of us to do the focus pulling, he picked me just to shut me up. Like, he's not mad at me, I guess maybe he just wanted the chatter to stop. but holy crap, I'm so social. So I mainly spoke to 4 people, plus the Filipino boy that I talked about, who I think is still the closest person to me, like in the class. As far as, I wouldn't call us friends, but we still talk to each other more frequently than usual. But so like I said last week, this white girl whose name is Ella, she suddenly found my Instagram and followed me. And so this morning I sat outside of the classroom on the white bench, and she came later and she sat beside me to my right. And of course, obviously, I'm going to ask her, like, oh, you followed me on Instagram? Like, how did you find it? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I just found it. And I said, oh, I follow another girl. And she said, oh yeah, that's probably it. And then I asked her about Sadie Sink, and she said, oh yeah, we're friends and stuff. But I didn't ask any further because I don't know, I watch Stranger Things and I know about the Taylor Swift music video, but like, I don't know. At this point, I mean, it's LA, what do you expect? Like, it's Los Angeles, and also in Hong Kong. My mom also knows a lot of celebrities. Not tons, but a little bit. So I'm not that surprised, but that's a very, very cool thing. But yeah, we talked a little more, and she's really nice, and it's legitimately great. And then a little bit afterwards, so the class begins, and the first half of the class is basically more theory, and it was all fine and dandy. And then break happens, and Starbucks should be in front. Okay. McDonald's right here, Starbucks should be in front. So it's all fine and dandy, and then another white girl who actually sat beside me in the classroom today, also to my right, she has black hair. She's called Stephanie, and she told me during break, she's like, oh, so you're from Hong Kong, right? And I said, yeah, I'm from Hong Kong. And she said, oh, I went to Hong Kong actually, like for 2 years. And I'm like, oh, really? Wow, what the heck is this building? Also, I'm lost. Where am I supposed to go? Alright, here it is. Starbucks. Okay, time now is, what's the time now? Jesus, I can't. Time now is 1:15. This is Starbucks. Cheese, Gouda, bacon. I think there are eggs in it. Sandwich. Originally, I wanted to order another one, the bacon egg white one, but they said it's out of stock. So this is my only option, and it's $4.99, so $5, and it's fine. $5 for a lunch is actually a little bit cheaper than I had expected. And I know it's not a lot, but you know what? I'll have a lot of snacks. Also, Thomas the Chinese dude wants to meet me. Maybe. So if that's the case, then it's a good thing that I'm saving some stomach space. Alright. Cheers. Alright. Alright, so it's 1:29. Yeah, let's talk about what happened today. Oh my god, I've socialized so much today. Like I've socialized today more than 2020 and 2021 combined. Because in 2020 and 2021, what new friends did I make? What or not friends, doesn't have to be friends, or what new connections have I made other than Miriam and the lion, who, by the way, I don't even speak to the lion anymore because Miriam hates the lion. But today I spoke to so many friggin' people and I had good vibes with pretty much every single one of them. And I feel like that's partially not only because my social skills have gotten better, but also I think I really am beginning to able to get the hang of how to vibe a person. Like the way you speak to people is different for everyone. Like for certain people you need to be like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." And for certain people you need to be straight and direct. And I'm starting to be able to gauge that, and it's friggin' awesome. I mean, I sound like a sociopath right now, but that's true. That's such a normal thing. You have to gauge people and understand how to speak to them. So, right, first of all, we have Ella, the white girl, who's really nice and who somehow found my Instagram, so that's kind of funny. And then it's funny because even though she's friends with literally one of the biggest kid stars in the USA right now, and maybe the world, she still has like 140 something Instagram followers. Maybe she has another account, but I doubt it. Why would she follow me on her private or her lesser account? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's kind of funny. But okay, so there's the white girl, and then there's Stephanie, the other white girl with black hair, who is kind of nice, and I'm happy that a lot of people actually know about Hong Kong. Sure, a lot of older people in the older generation, say the first host and the second host, also thought that Hong Kong is inside Japan. But a lot of people, more than I thought, know where Hong Kong is and have even been there. Like my professor, the Indian professor from Mumbai, he said he's been to Hong Kong. The white girl Stephanie that I spoke to today said she's been to Hong Kong for 2 years, and the German girl as well. Damn, damn. All right, so that's that. So the third person I really spoke with, of course, there's Eric, the Filipino boy, and then I was just standing around in the shade, not really in the shade, and under the sunshine actually, because it was quite cold. So having the sunshine shine on me, it was quite warm and nice, and I really enjoyed that. And I was just standing there, and usually I'm pretty much in the big gang, or there are no gangs really, because we're not in secondary school anymore. But still, like they're the popular and more socialized kids, and I'm kind of a part of them in a sense. We got Miles, the half British guy, and his close friend, who has long black hair, also white, very tall, and has Hungarian citizenship, and then um, and we have the girls, Lily, the dancer, who is in the same dance class as JT, and she's sort of this, average Californian girl, but less pretentious, more oopsie daisies, goofy, clumsy type girl. And it's so funny how I describe these people. And we have Betsy, the film club president, and these are sort of like the more popular people, and I'm sort of with them because I'm with Eric, and then Eric, the Filipino boy, and there's Raziel, the light skinned guy, and it was kind of nice. And then I spoke to actually um this guy, Christian Castillo. So I'm sorry I said his full name, but I mean there are probably tons of people in this world called Christian Castillo. You won't be able to find the one that I'm talking about. You won't be able to do that. So so Christian, this dude, and this dude, how did I initiate my conversation with him? I don't know, cause he's hanging out with another guy, Lucas, who is, I don't know, so LA is wild, and people's fashion is a little wild, but that's good because now I'm able to recognize people by what clothes they wear. So Lucas is a very social and outgoing boy, and he wears a crop top, revealing his abs. But nobody says anything about that. It's just not weird here. So they're close, and so Christian and Lucas stand next to each other, and then it's Ella beside the pillar, and then it's Eric and me beside the trash cans. And then we just started talking to each other. Like I can't really hear them very well for some reason. Like they're a little bit far away, But they're talking about this class, this professor talking about movies, talking about the Batman because Ella hasn't seen it, and Christian hasn't seen it, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I could ask Christian if he wants to watch it together with me or not, because or we can ask Ella out as well. It would be amazing, because Eric's seen it, so that's that. And Pepper isn't interested, and I don't know how interested is Thomas, but anyways, Christian. So as we're walking back to the classroom, I spoke to Christian, like, you're Christian, right? And he's like, yeah, and you're Enoch. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then, what did I say? I didn't say a lot. I just said, oh, you haven't watched Batman? And he's like, yeah, and I said, oh, me too, I want to watch it. So a little bit later in the class, when we were doing hands-on activity, focus pulling, for a little bit, I stood beside Christian, and I was like, oh, so you want to be a writer director? See, when you speak to people, always find common interests and common ground first. That's how you start off. It's the same formula. The opening conversation is the same formula. You just gotta own it and perfect it. But common ground, common interest. I remembered that in the first class, he said he wants to be a writer director, and I remembered that, oh, I want to be a writer director too. And I saw that he's a little shy and a little introverted, and I'm like, okay, that's literally me. So, gotta speak to the guy. So I'm like, oh, so you want to be a writer director? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, I want to be a writer director too. And I explained, oh, after I write a script, I don't want someone else to direct it. I mean, in vice versa. Like, I don't want to direct something that I didn't write. And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. It's unless you really trust that person. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So, that's really cool. Um, and then a little bit later, before we started doing the hands-on activity, I saw Alan. So there are two Mexican people, like two truly Mexican people, like actually comes from Mexico, Mexican people. So the Mexican girl, Alba, and the Mexican boy, Alan. So I spoke to Alan, and I've been wanting to speak to him since week 1 because he mentioned that he watched Tarkovsky's Stalker, and I really wanted to ask him like if he likes it, and I wanted to tell him that I'm kind of afraid to watch Stalker. So I literally said exactly what I just said. Hi, you're Alan, right? And he's like, yeah, you're Enoch, right? And I'm like, yeah, Enoch. So I said, oh, so you watch Stalker, right? In the first class you said, and he's like, yeah, it's great. It's a beautiful film, and it changed the way how I look at movies. And I said, oh, I really want to watch it, but I'm kind of afraid of it because people are saying it's long and boring. And he's like, yeah, but it really changes the way I look at film, and it's just the themes it's trying to say. And I'm like, yeah. And a little bit later I said, oh, I watched Ivan's Childhood actually, because if I want to start Tarkovsky, got to start from the beginning. And then yeah, it was really really nice. And then we continued talking about stuff, and then he asked me, oh, you want to be do you see yourself becoming a cameraman or a director or DP? He didn't say DP. And I said, yeah, director. I want to be a director writer. And he said, oh, that's interesting. And I asked him, so I always want to ask people this is, where do you want to transfer? Because I'm struggling myself, and I know that I need to ask more people about this in order to be sure about this, in order to know what the fuck is going on. So I asked him where to want to transfer, and guess what? He said UCLA and USC. That's exactly what I want to go to as well. So I said, oh, for USC, you need to submit a 5-minute short film, less than 5 minutes. And I'm like, I have no idea what to do. So I was thinking maybe if we become close to each other, maybe we could work together for short films. Who knows? And more. So that's fantastic. And then he told me that he wants to get into either the UCLA documentary program or the UCLA, or I think USC visual anthropology program, which is basically documentary and cultural anthropology combined, which is interesting as hell. And I asked him, oh, did you take the cultural anthropology class here in this college? And he's like, yeah. And I said, oh, yeah. And he said online, and I'm like, oh, I'm online too. So again, as you can see, more common ground, more common interests. I love cultural anthropology. It's my thing. And then he told me that there is a humanities class about witchcraft and voodoo and all that. And I'm like, what? I'd never heard of it. It's true. I've never heard of it. And now I'm interested. So that's amazing. Okay. Class ends. I did speak to Ella a little bit more and more, just ask her like when we were standing around waiting for people to pull the focus, everybody has to do it one by one. Um, I heard Miles and Ella and another girl who's still in high school talking. Her name's Tatiana, and I want to join in the conversation, but I just can't hear them very well. And I've heard some small things, but I don't get it because I'm not American, right? So I was a little awkward. But at one point, I spoke to Ella like, "Oh, have you done it?" And she's like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Wow, yeah, it's tougher than I thought." And she's like, "Yeah." At the very end of the class dismissed, everybody leaves, and I thought, okay, I at this point I could just walk up to Eric and continue to speak to him, or I could just anyone would be fine, really. But at the end, everybody's gone, and I wanted to stick around for a little bit, so I actually did. And back in secondary school days, I do that all the time. After the class, I stick around because why not? Because it's fun. Because you get to talk to people. You get to just be in the moment, That's the thing. That's the classroom, that's the campus life. So I got to do it. So I stuck around, and the guy with the long black hair to shoulder, the guy with the Hungarian citizenship, leaned against the wall, opened up his laptop, and I asked him what you're and the tall Swedish guy, David, he's like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "3D printing." And the Swedish guy's like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, I know people who are 3D printing butt plugs," and I'm like, "What?" But yeah, it's really weird. And the guy with the Hungarian citizenship, I forgot his name. Oh, Benjamin. He's like, um, well, we 3D print, wheat grinders, and some people are even 3D printing guns. And I'm like, oh, 3D printing guns? That's crazy. Like, will it break halfway? So again, not really common ground, but just get into the topic. He's like, oh, no, it won't. And I said, well, that's really weird. And he told me that in Myanmar, because of the revolution, people are 3D printing guns in Myanmar right now. And I'm like, wow, really? I don't know that. And then I continue talking about how I'm really surprised that somebody in the USA still cares about Myanmar. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then I also talked about, oh, in Hong Kong, back before the protest, we don't care about anything. But after the protest, we care about Myanmar, Iran, Chile. Like, we're just so aware. Finally, Miles came out of the classroom and came out of the building and went to the outdoor area where I was at. And Miles like, yeah, I had a lot of caffeine today. I need to go back home and take an aspirin. And he's like, bye bye. And I'm like, oh, I need to go too, so bye bye. So Miles in front of me, and at that point I'm like, okay, I've spoken a lot already today. Time to go home and rest. But it doesn't end there. The highlight of the day actually starts here. So Miles turned around and he's like, oh, you're stalking me, right? You're stalking me. Nah, just kidding. And I'm like, haha, stalker. That's a Tarkovsky reference. So, I asked him, like, where do you want to transfer to? And before he could even answer me, he said, oh, so I'm actually going to take another year here because, because the classes here, even though it's a community college, the classes here are actually pretty damn good. And I want to take, like, a lot of filmmakers get inspiration from other filmmakers, but real innovative filmmakers get inspiration from other things outside from film. And I'm like, yeah. And then he said, oh, I actually wanted to take this somethingology, paganisology of business. And I'm like, oh, yeah, next semester, I said, oh, next semester I want to take political science. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's very interesting. And I told him, well, yeah, because you know the Hong Kong protests. Before the protest, I'm like, politics, ooh, confusing and weird. But after the protest, it's like politics. I want to talk about it. And he told me, oh, really? And he told me that he is also really aware of the whole Hong Kong situation. And when it was happening, he voiced out support for Hong Kongers, which is amazing. I mean, he also talked, like, was an activist during the BLM protests, which I really respect. And so we continued to talk. I'm like, thank you, man. And then he said a Chinese propagandist DM'd him and saying all these bullshit propaganda talking points. And it's just fantastic. And he's like, yeah, because, like, who's wearing the armor? Like, a lot of the propagandists say, the violent protesters beat up the poor Chinese police, blah 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 blah. But who's wearing the armor? Who has the baton? And I continue talking about, oh yeah, Chinese censorship is crazy, and I told him that it's a good thing that more people know about what the Chinese government is doing and standing up against them while not being racist. And I made that very clear. And he's like, yeah, right. And he told me that back in his high school, there were a lot of people who are descendants from indigenous rebels, communist indigenous rebels, and they were advocating for Chinese government because they think that the Chinese government are good. But I said, oh no, no, that's not true. I mean, they're not really doing it uh, because they wanted to help. They're doing it for. And then Miles said, money. It's like a business, and it's all for profit. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like China is already exploiting Africans, and even Nicaragua. Nicaragua just cut ties with Taiwan, and now is doing business with China. And how do you call yourself communist when you're exploiting working class in other countries, in other poor countries? Yeah, like come on. And he's like, yeah. And I talked about the Uyghur genocide, like Tiananmen Square massacre, in Inner Mongolia, and he's like, oh yeah, there's Tibet too, and I'm like, yeah, right. And so it's amazing. It's honestly amazing. And we parted ways very soon, and he said, and I was like, oh, which way are you walking? Because I wanted to walk while he speaks, and there's a 50-50 chance, like you could go either left or right. So either way, it's fine. I live nearby, right? So yeah, we walked and we talked, and at the end he's like, "Wow, well, good talk, man, good talk. See you. Have a nice day." And I'm like, "Yeah, see you next week." So that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a lot of conversation, and that's amazing. That is actually amazing. Like I'm vibing with everyone. Like the guy who likes cultural anthropology, the guy who likes politics. Like I'm just vibing with everyone, really. I don't know why. Maybe it's because like in the morning class, I'm just more laid back because I'm more sleep deprived. And by being more laid back, I'm less impulsive and I think less. But in nighttime class, I'm a little bit more awkward, maybe. Maybe that's what ticked the Russian girl off. The other one, not the one in in the Saturday class, the Wednesday class, Liana. Uh, but yeah, overall, it's quite fantastic. And I feel like I could just do this to everyone in my Saturday class because I already know everybody's names, because everybody's done self introduction. Like, I could just go round robin. I could just go speak to every single person possible, find their common interests, speak to them, get to know them, and just like round robin. I could just do this, which is absolutely insane because there's no way in hell I have the capability to do that because I'm Enoch Lai after all, and I have trouble socializing. But apparently not. Alright, so went to Starbucks, bought a sandwich, came back home, ate it. While going to Starbucks, Thomas the Chinese dude told me, okay, I'm at Irvine right now, but I'll be here around your area at around 3 or 4. And I'm like, oh, so you want to meet today? And he's like, yeah, if you don't mind. If you don't want, it's fine. And I said, no, it's fine. I mean, yeah, sure, we can meet. So I may go out again a little later. This is why I haven't changed my clothes. This is why I'm not planning to do anything now. That's a little bit of a problem because I have chemistry lab homework, I believe. I'm going to double check and make sure that, and hope that I actually don't have lab. But if I do, then I gotta come home a little bit early tonight just to do the lab. But yeah, that's fantastic. It's amazing, really. So yeah, that's that. Yo, oh my god, I have no homework today. Holy shit! Yes. A couple more things. Time now is 2:56 p.m. I connected my phone to the laptop 4 times and it crashed the first 2 times, and it's not like before where it disconnects and reconnects. It just crashed, like frozen. Maybe it's because it's too much files, like too much file size for it to handle because I had to copy like 10 gigabytes into the computer. But yeah, another thing I'd like to add is The professor, he's gay. I learned. I mean, I think I've heard it already in week one, but I never really fully confirmed it until Pepper told me that he's gay. So there's that. But no, he recommended us to watch In the Mood for Love, and the moment I hear him say this movie title, my eyes just light up. I'm like, oh my god. And he's like, has any of you watched it? And I raised my hand, and a few other people would raise their hands, and it's like, and I like smiled and nodded my head. I didn't say out loud like, yes, Wong Kar Wai, but like, I think the professor saw me smiling and nodding, like, yeah, you know, you from Hong Kong, you should know who. That's pretty cool. But we're not watching it for this week. For this week, we're watching Once Upon a Time in Anatolia. Um, but yeah. So I checked, and apparently I don't have chemistry homework today, which is absolutely great news, which means that I'm free all afternoon. And Thomas, the Chinese dude, is saying that he wants to meet me, but I've been waiting for I think half an hour already, and I haven't received any response from him. So I really don't know if by 3:15 I still haven't received any response from him. I'm just gonna wash my face and change my clothes and stay in this Airbnb until further notice. But come on, man. Come on, man. If I and Thomas, the Chinese dude, really meet up and really like come up with some awesome ideas, today might even be eligible for one of the best days of the year, and surprisingly so. And I want to say this because yesterday, yesterday night, I cried myself to sleep thinking about Mary and also Natalie. And the trigger is always the same. It's always I hear Mary's voice in the wind and I see Mary's smile in the clouds. That's always the trigger for me. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the depressive episode that I've been waiting for. Finally, 2.5 months into going to USA, I finally reached the stage where I start to feel really painful and nostalgic. But then today, it's been ecstatic. I meet so many people. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still miss the past, but it's almost like I'm torn between being super pessimistic about my life now and being optimistic about my life now. Nothing in the middle ground, really. So, that's that. All right, it's 3:32. No response from Thomas the Chinese dude. I sat on that sofa for like half an hour already. I'm gonna eat this yogurt. Noosa, finest yogurt, honey flavor. Whew, let's grab a spoon. This shall suffice. All right. Let's try this. Jonah recommended this. He said this is his favorite kind. All right, let's try this. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's 4:38 and 4:39. 4:39 actually, and I kind of gave up actually. Like, I don't know if Thomas, the Chinese dude, is gonna reply to me or not. So screw it, whatever. So I washed my face, washed my hair, changed my clothes, and and while I was washing my face, I was like, okay, I swear to God, if the moment I return to my bedroom and look at my phone, Thomas the Chinese dude texts me. So yeah, he's telling me that, you know, I could go to his apartment. It's 4:39 now. Come on, man. Why? Or I could just meet somewhere near school. I already fucking changed my clothes and all. I'm ready to just, you know, just chill on my Airbnb. I'm ready to do that basically. Fuck. Fuck. I was waiting. I waited for all the way, man. At 1:30 I already finished my lunch, and for 3 hours, I was just waiting on the couch, just playing with my phone. And at the end, I finally gave up. And then just then, fuck. Alright. He lives at West Hollywood. Let's see how far away. If it's far away, then I'll say no. Because if it's close by, then whatever, right? Alright, so time now is exactly 7. About half an hour ago, I was suddenly attacked with a stomachache. I don't know where did that happen, but I was suddenly hit with a stomachache. So, anyways, I planned to do like an album review first before I go out again. As you can see, I've changed my clothes already, back to the street clothes. So right now, here's the plan. Here's the score. So Tom is the Chinese dude, and his roommate is going to go to a restaurant, an Indonesian restaurant near Culver City. And he's like, oh, you can, you can join me after the dinner. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then he was like, okay, do you want to join us for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know if I can make it in time. But yeah, after a lot of confusing talk, finally I've decided. I don't know if he's clear on this or not, but I've told him that, okay, I'll meet you after dinner. And he said, okay, after dinner, I will go to somewhere near your area, somewhere in Santa Monica, and we'll just find a place to sit down and talk. And he's already pretty much finished having dinner, and usually I don't eat dinner this early. And if I want to go out and meet him, this means I have to eat dinner earlier, but that's totally fine because I just had a stomachache. And I also didn't eat much today. So I'll eat half box of pasta that I put in the pie box, the half pie box, which is not a lot. And I'll fry up the remaining luncheon meat and just call it a dinner. And then hopefully a little bit later when we hang out, maybe we're gonna go to a cafe or some sort of place, and maybe I can buy something more vegetable oriented or fruit oriented for that matter. But that's the plan. I'm gonna go out again tonight. And yeah, when I went to the USA, I also expected myself to maybe sacrifice a bit of my own alone time and sort of step out the comfort zone and adventure a little bit more, especially, unpredictably so. So I'm kind of fine with this, I guess. Okay, so according to my aunt, my rice cooker should have already arrived yesterday. So let's hope nobody has stolen it. Well, thank God. Right, here he is, in a roommate's car.
Do you think I can get him on my podcast?
Oh man.
Song for this girl that he really likes, And then the other guy finds the poem.
Am I in the wrong spot? I swear to God, this is exactly the place I live in. The hell? I swear to God. What the fuck? Wait, what? Hold on, am I in the right spot or not? Okay, never mind. I did go to the wrong spot. Oh my God, I was gonna climb up and jump over and that would probably be detrimental as I may get arrested. But thank God, I'm back once again. Oh, thank God. Okay, thank God. All right, time now is 11:03 p.m. Just came back home about 15 minutes ago. Washed my face, washed my hair once again, changed my clothes. Let's talk about the incredibly exciting and awesome weird thing I did with Thomas the Chinese dude. So yeah, at around, I guess, when did it even happen? I kind of forgot, but like 7, it was almost 8 actually, 8:30. He picked me up like outside of this Airbnb, except see, this Airbnb is located in a really weird place, so he didn't really pick me up there. I had to go out to the main street to see him. But anyways, I got into a car, and it is his roommate's car. And he's just like, okay, what's up? So where should we go? And I'm like, I have no idea. So at the end, we're like, okay, let's go to Santa Monica Place or Plaza. And so we went there and we parked at this weird side thing, like this $10 parking guy, $10 per hour, which is stupid. This side parking garage lot car park place, and we went to the plaza and we already started chatting on what sort of ideas I have. Like the main thing I want to do is to strategically know what to do when we apply for USC and UCLA. So what kind of stuff we want to write in our personal statements, what to write in our life challenge essays, what sort of short films we want to submit, what should be the portfolio, what kind of scripts, what kind of creative writing we should submit, yada yada. And yeah, the thing is, he doesn't want to do that, and I thought, so okay, we went to Santa Monica Plaza and went to the top floor, and we sat down on a couple of chairs, and that's it. I brought paper and pen, didn't use it at all. He brought his laptop, and he's like, ooh, the table's wet. Ooh, and then he left it, and he didn't even use it at all. So, essentially, the stupid thing, the truth, is that I went there because I thought we would be discussing on how I'm going to help you make your 5-minute short film to submit to USC, and how you're going to help me make a 5-minute short film to submit to USC. We're going to do a double. I help you and you help me. It's reciprocal. But the fact of the matter is, the short film that he's filming right now is already the one he's going to submit to USC. And the one that he wants to make, a collaboration short film between me and him, is just for portfolio, which is important, don't get me wrong. The portfolio, you have to hand in the portfolio to USC as well, but it's not the most important thing. It's the short film that you submit to USC, and also your personal statement and your essays and your writing samples. The portfolio, they won't go through all the friggin' short films and all the friggin' visual samples of every portfolio of every applicant ever. Like the people at USC just don't have that much time. They just look at it for a little bit. If they're interested, they can watch it. If they don't, they don't. So honestly, it doesn't even matter. Not at all. So, but I didn't want to be rude, so I was like, oh, I thought, it's like, I don't know how much time we got, because it's like the collaboration and then there's my own short film. And then he said, well, okay, let's work on the collaboration project. And then I said, oh, okay. And I said, oh yeah, because, I still got a 5-minute short film then. And he's like, yeah, but, it's just, it's just you and me, so let's work on this collab project instead. So I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, so this collab project, and you know what, even though this isn't, submitting, it's a short film nonetheless, so I'm interested. So he's like, okay, so you got any ideas? And I said, okay, so so he immediately started, okay, which time period, like, because we both like Chinese period films, but he's like, which period, and we started talking about, oh yeah, Chinese this, Chinese that, he's like, oh, I want to do this. It's funny. So, okay, hear me out. Notice a pattern in his story ideas. The first story idea that Thomas told me is in French concession China. There's a love story, like a secret love story between a pretty Chinese girl and a French guy, and a handsome French guy, and how complicated it is and story unfolds, which in my opinion is a boring as fuck idea. Not because of the history part. The history part is exciting, but it's the whole secret love thing. It's just so overused and cliche. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking more of character going insane, psychological horror, psychological thriller, just a character thinking that they're living in the Ming Dynasty or something. That's my first thought. And then he's like, well, okay, how about espionage, like spy? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, that's good, but like, again, it's a little bit cliche. And I asked him, oh, have you watched Farewell My Concubine? And he's like, oh no. And I asked him, okay, have you watched this? And he's like, no, I haven't watched it. And I asked him, oh, have you watched this? And he's like, no, I haven't. Which is okay, but a little bit later, he's like, okay, so what other ideas do you have? So I'm just spewing ideas. In fact, like, being a writer is like being just playing cards. I need a drink. I desperately need a drink. It's like playing cards. You keep your best cards to yourself. But I showed a lot of my great cards to him already, like my rhythm game short film idea, my strength, my hunger short film idea, and all short film ideas that didn't come to me. Like I hate forcing ideas. I can't do that. Okay, I hate sitting down and go, okay, let's make an idea right now. I can't do it because ideas come naturally. And if it doesn't come naturally, I wouldn't be passionate about it. I would not be passionate about it at all. It just doesn't have that magic. But you know what? Fine, whatever. So I told him a lot about this, and he's like, okay. So I was like, okay. Let's talk about what we have. Let's not be too ambitious. Let's talk about how long we want the short film to be and what sort of genre, which time period. So at the end, we arrived at modern, and we arrived at drama/thriller. And so I had tons of ideas. Like, I mean, we could do like there are tons of ideas really. Like, and after modern, he told me that he has many other ideas about dating. Like, a girl dates a guy, but the guy cheats on her, and drama unfolds. And I'm like, I mean, that's fine, but like, there's so many other ideas. And here's the thing, man: if you submit a short film to USC or put a short film in your portfolio, it has to be as special as possible. You can't have things like death, drug abuse, depression, sports injury, religious experience, charity, dating. Like, these things are so overused, especially dating. But anyways, I said, okay, you know what? Let's focus on other ideas. I mean, yeah, your idea is cool. Your idea is cool and all, but I guess, we should, make it a little bit more special. Make it a little bit more quirky. How about we do a fantasy? We could do a horror. I mean, we could do crime maybe. We could do like supernatural. We could do like magic. And he's like, oh, but the editing. And I'm like, no, it could be subtle. It could be subtle magic. It could be like, the Prestige. It could be, like supernatural powers. And he's like, oh no, but the editing. And I said, no, but it could be subtle, like teleportation, like time travel. And he's like, no, it's a little complicated. And I'm like, fine. Okay, so we got not a lot of actors, set in modern time, and it has to be simple and short. And I thought, abduction, like, how about characters get abducted? We're all stranded in some place. How about that? How about we're locked in a room and we have to escape it, like escape room or Squid Game or something like that. How about we do a political thriller? How about we do this? How about we do that? How about we do something more lighthearted, something related to food or music or martial arts and sports and maybe dancing? It's just ideas. Of course, I'm never gonna do dancing, but I'm just so many freaking ideas, like sci-fi, robots, it's just so many ideas, and I can tell that he's getting a little overwhelmed, and I just started to shut up, and I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah. So, but I'm just throwing ideas out there. Of course, how about you? And he said, uh, yeah, I mean, your ideas are great, but I mean, they're complicated. I was thinking more on conflict, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And he said, let's think about the moral conflict. Like every single story needs a moral conflict. And I was trying to be honest with him, and I said, well, not exactly. I don't think like some of the like a short film, of course, needs a moral conflict, but like it doesn't have to be like that. Like it can be a little bit more experimental. Um, and he said, no, 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 no. Every single film has a moral conflict because it drives a story, which is a really Western way of storytelling. Like the conflict first. Conflict is key. But I disagree with it a little bit. Like, yeah, I do agree conflict is key, but you need to have an idea first. And the idea is key. Conflict comes next. And you can't force yourself to think of a conflict. But so I told him, um, I mean, yeah, we can be a little experimental. I mean, and maybe it's because I started to not speak a lot. Um, maybe it's because like um I started to just stop. I stopped spewing ideas out randomly and impulsively. My mom is texting me. Um, he thought I was uninterested, and I indeed was getting it uninterested. And he said, "Oh, fine, fine, fine. You do your film, I do my film." And that's kind of rude. Instead of asking me what's wrong and being all nice, he's just like, "Oh, fine. You hate my ideas, fine." I don't hate them. I just don't think that it's the right approach. But then again, I respect you because ultimately, this collab idea, it's yours. You're the one who wanted to collab with me. I mean, I wanted to collab with him too. I don't know actually. It's a two-way thing. Except, I guess it's your loss. So I at that point just started to stop caring really, but I still showed a great deal of passion, and I still genuinely care about his story. Like I don't want to see him go to shit. So it's like, okay, fine. So conflict, right? Moral conflict. So he came up with, when I was in eighth grade, I read the story, and I know it's really simple, but it really stuck with me. Where it's basically a poor woman. She has no money. She has a kid, and she wants to get on the bus, and the bus driver saw her and just went past her. And then years later, the bus driver saw her again, except she walked through the bus and entered it, which means that she had turned into a ghost, and that had forever haunted the bus driver. And so in the future, the bus driver lets poor people on his bus. And he said this story stuck to him. And he said, see, moral conflict. This is a moral conflict, whether to let a poor woman on the bus or not. And I was just thinking, this is like a Dhar Mann inspiration video. It's lame as hell. But I was just thinking, I didn't say it. I was just looking at the side, just sort of smiling a little bit. Like, and he's like, okay, you don't like it. You don't like it. Fine. And I said, no, 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 no. I like it. I think it's a good idea. But it's just that, maybe there are other ways, other alternative ways to, make it more interesting. And Thomas the Chinese dude was like, exactly, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. So at the end, I gave up. I just gave up. Like, I still acted like I really care, but it's just a lost cause. And then I'm like, okay, so what sort of conflict can you think about? And he's like, okay, so a guy is dating a girl, and he has to choose to whether date the girl just for her money, or ditch her. And I'm like, okay, that's a good idea, but maybe it's a little cliche. And so he's like, okay, fine, fine, fine. You don't like it. Okay. So a guy and another guy in a college, roommates, they're roommates, have a crush on a girl, and there's a conflict. And I'm like, and I told him, okay, dating is a little cliche. And he's like, okay, so a guy, um, and I told him, okay, what if it's not dating? What if it's something else? So at that point, we already left the mall. It's getting cold, and we decided to walk around the Santa Monica Pier, the Third Street, whatever. And at that point, he said he's never dated before, and I said, yeah, me too. And he said, um, he said people who want to date will be able to relate to these stories. I feel like, again, I'm not trying to say I'm better than him, and art is subjective, don't get me wrong, but his understanding of storytelling is so shallow, because all the story ideas he thinks about, 90% of the story ideas he think about is dating, and dating drama, and lying in dating, and cheating during dating. Everything's dating, 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 dating. Hot girls, and guys cheating, lying, girls lying, just dating. Just 90% of his ideas, and the other 10% are ideas like Dhar Mann video ideas, like um, a guy, he's poor and he sees a rich guy on the street. What does he do? Stuff like that, and it's just like, there's so many more creative ways to tell a story. There are so many more interesting and intricate ways of telling a story, other than something as basic as this. Espionage. It's so basic. But I don't want to tell him. But I did. I was honest and I was kind. I told him some of his ideas are cliche, and I told him in the kindest way possible. I said, I like your idea, but it's kind of cliche, and I don't know if USC will like it or not. But he didn't really listen. So at the end, he's like, oh, I want to do a moral conflict of, guilt, like a guy lied to a girl, and the guy's like, I have all these credentials, but he's actually lying, and it haunts him forever. And I said, well, does it have to be dating? Like, what if it's a friendship thing? Because people can relate to being friends more than they can relate to dating. Look at this painting behind me. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then he said, ooh, I have a cool idea. What if a guy lies about his credentials, and try to get a job or get into university? Like, again, his scope of life and story is just so small. Everything's just either dating, getting a job, or getting into university, or dating, or banking, or dating. Like, that is all his story ideas. He doesn't have any other ideas outside of these 5. And it's so bland, and his taste for stories, for it's just so basic and shallow. It's just like, oh my god, it's giving me Dhar Mann vibes. So finally, we settled on the idea of a guy who lies about his credentials, and his roommate has to make a decision to either snitch on him or to not. And that's the conflict, because there needs to be one. And he's asked me, okay, so do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, I do like it. I think it's a good idea. In fact, I don't really think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I tried my best to persuade him to write something better, but we found middle ground, and I don't want to shake it off. And I just, I'm like, yeah. And he looked at me and he's like, you don't seem passionate about it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, of course I'm not passionate about it. It's a forced idea and it's not my idea. Of course I'm not passionate about it. I never get passionate about, I never get passionate about ideas that are forced. But then again, idea is just a part. How about the story? How about the dialogue? How about the execution? I genuinely want to help him, and I genuinely want to tell him that, your story is not strong enough. But then again, it doesn't even matter at the end because it's just for portfolio. It's just for the fucking portfolio. It doesn't matter. You're not going to submit it. They can choose not to watch it. It literally makes no difference. The existence of the short film literally makes no difference. And he told me, Thomas the Chinese dude, he told me that he wants to make a 20-minute long short film. 20 minutes. How long will that take? We don't have years, okay? We only have less than a few months to apply to university. We don't have that much time. And I have to work on my 5-minute short film too. So, it's so migraine inducing. And originally, I even want to ask Pepper if she's interested. Right now, I just don't even want to tell her that. It's just embarrassing, really. It's just like this. The scope of storytelling is just so tiny. It's just, oh my god. So I'm gonna watch a good ass movie right now to open up my brain again, and yeah, and then I'm gonna go to bed, and then maybe tomorrow I will go to church, perhaps. Perhaps, I don't know. So wow, my voice is very clear. A couple things. Time now is 1:59. I watched the whole movie First Reformed, but now I just don't. Yeah, it's already late, and B, I really am tired. C, turns out in about 1 minute, it's going to jump from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. because it's springtime, which means that if I want to wake up earlier tomorrow morning to go to church, I would have to wake up an hour earlier. Yeah, because I would have less time. Because time has moved forward. It's so fucking stupid, I know. So I've decided to not even go to church tomorrow. This means for tomorrow lunch I need to get creative. Or not really. I mean, I still got leftover pasta, and I'm gonna tell Jonah that I'm not going. Yeah. And I feel once again like today morning it was super interesting because I met so many interesting people. But now I feel, and oh my skin is cracking. I don't know what. Maybe it's because I've been washing dishes so much. But my skin is getting really rough and it's cracking. Like I have multiple small mini cuts. And yeah, this morning I met so many interesting people, and that's really cool. But tonight it was just like disillusionment. I feel like Pepper have better people to hang out with. I want to speak to JT and Potter, but JT's off in another universe already. Like JT's joined the dance team and dance society of UCLA or something, and or at least is affiliated with them. And then Tom's the Chinese dude. I don't know. He just comes off kind of. Again, I'm not gonna try to say that I'm better than him, but and I really do try my best to understand him and try to, let him in, but I feel like he's just dominating the work too much, and I'm not excited about this short film like at all. like I already forgot about what I want to do for the short film. A guy lies about his credentials when he applies to for a job. Ugh, what kind of story idea is that? It's so boring, and it also doesn't make a lot of sense. Like it just fails on so many departments. It's just, and that's the best I could convince him because he's just so far removed from writing something interesting and actually thought provoking. Uh, so yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. I wanna I wanna be sad. Honestly, like I just, if there is a time to really just get sad and be depressed and just completely break down emotionally, it would be March. Like I know I need to continue outputting my YouTube and need to take care of my academics, but like I just I don't know. I'm gonna look at some photos of the old times, and I just want to cry myself to bed, and I wanna wake up naturally, and I wanna have a very vivid dream or something. I ask myself if it's like my fault, like are people usually like this? Like am I not being kind enough? But it's almost a little bit manipulative. Thomas the Chinese dude, he's like, "Oh, you don't like it? Then you make your film. I make my film." Um, and of course I don't want that because I want to keep good relationships, but he's so easy to like, "Oh, you disagree with me? Well, then you do you and I do I." And it's just like, "Oh fuck." Like I know this is a bad attitude, but Thomas the Chinese dude is probably the kind of person who you would abandon. Like, I don't know if I will succeed first or he will or neither of us will, but if I do succeed, I will just cut ties with him and just abandon him basically because he is just of no use to me really, and he'll just bog me down, and I don't know, I don't fucking know. I'm so lost. Like, I really wanted to find a footing and really meet more Hong Kongers. I mean, there's still Mank. I'm thinking about him actually, but Mank from psychology class. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to sleep. I don't know, man. It's just so scattered. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? There is no school. There is a school, but I won't call it school. It's college, and it works differently. And people come and go, and you make a friend, and then you don't speak to them ever again, and it just recycles over and over again. Nothing means anything, and yeah, fuck. All right, time now 12:33. Just woke up 3 minutes ago because the alarm is set to 12:30. Yeah. So I decided not to go to church today at all. I mean, there are multiple reasons. I'm tired. I'm not sad, but I want to be sad. And also I have injuries all over, like small minor cuts, like one on my knuckle over here, and I have a sore in my mouth over here, and if I don't sleep a lot, then it's just gonna be there. I have to recover. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of dreams, but I did dream about talent show at school. Like just talent show, and we were all sitting at the school hall, except it's nothing like our school hall. The more I dream about the school,
the more distorted and unreal it is. Like, the more unfamiliar it is. I mean, everybody was there. Leo, Natalie, but, like, it wasn't a sweet, beautiful dream or anything. It was just a talent show. You know, just people dancing and singing in front of us, and we were sitting in rows of seats, sort of inclined. And then a more vivid dream is I was in a family, and um, there was a dad who abuses his baby daughter, who is just, like, literally a baby. But the father character, he like scratches the baby's face from bottom to top, and the baby cries, and we can't really do anything about it because he's the father character and he's scary. And while the father was away, I immediately gave the baby a bottle of milk and tried to save her and try to, you know, calm her down while trying to, you know, not let the father character know that I'm secretly trying to help the baby daughter to, you know, to feed her and stuff. So yeah, that's the two dreams I had, and maybe a couple more, but I forgot really. Um, so, um, I don't know, man. Um, I feel like I had more dreams than that, but I'm just, I just don't remember a lot. Right, so the short film guy spoke to me, but he doesn't look like the short film guy anymore. He has tattoos all over his face. And he told me, we were sitting, he told me a bunch of stuff. I forgot what it is that he told me, but he told me a bunch of stuff. And then, yeah, it was a nice sleep. It was, so I technically went to bed at 4 a.m., even though it's supposed to be 3 a.m., but because of springtime, it's 4. So it's 4 to 12:30. That is 8.5 hours. Oh my god. So I need to do everything 1 hour earlier now because of this stupid springtime. Um, so today, because I have to shift everything 1 hour early, today is 1 hour less. So, um, I'm not going to do too much today, therefore. I'm going to film an album review if possible. I'm going to do some college homework if possible, and by that I mean, like, I just want to catch up on all the Spanish and chemistry I've been missing out on. I want to work on my short film if that's okay. I really need someone to help me with the short film. Like, how the fuck do I make one as an immigrant? You know, I just have no idea. I don't have the equipment or the actors, you know? And I feel like Thomas, a Chinese dude, will not be able to help me in that department. For that department, I would like to speak to the Mexican dude. I think he's very promising. And then finally, I'd like to, yeah, just rest up and, I'll handle lunch and dinner. I got leftover pasta. I got some salad I can make. And tonight dinner, I'm gonna try to do a fried rice thing. Fried rice with eggs and chopped onions. And chicken breast. And then tomorrow I'm gonna go to the supermarket and buy a new kind of meat. So, yeah, it's fine and dandy. Alright, time now is 1:13 p.m. I'm wearing the same set of clothes. I've been thinking about changing it, but I don't care anymore, and I don't want to wash my clothes. I don't want to go out and go to the washing machine. I just don't. But,
yeah, I don't know, a couple things. I don't expect myself to be able to do anything today, really. I just want to soak in my own sadness, if there is any. I want to start writing poems again because I feel like poems is the most basic skeletal form of expression, and I just want to, I don't know, I just want to sit down and listen to music for hours and hours. I want to go back to my Minecraft world, the school, sort of revisit it, and yeah, yeah, that dream about a baby being abused was gut wrenching. Like, uh, ugh. It's not the dream I was hoping to dream of. Like, I was hoping to dream about the past and how beautiful it is, and I wake up crying, but yeah, it's not really that. It's not beautiful at all. It's kind of disgusting. Um, yeah, I'm gonna see what I have to eat for lunch. Also, a couple more things. Apparently, there was an earthquake in Hong Kong and everybody felt it, which is historical because Hong Kong has never had earthquakes this scale this big before since a long time ago. And second of all, I don't know, it's someone's birthday, but this other girl from class C, sec C, um, like she had a party or something, a small party, and she hung out with people like Joseph and Cherry and Alden, and Mary was there. And Mary didn't make any Instagram stories about it or posts about it because it's already out of fashion. But Mary was there, and I don't know. I feel like everybody's so independent now, and I mean, I am quite. I've, I'm gonna be honest here. I've exceeded my own expectations. Before I came to the USA, I thought I would just die and suffer every single day, and because I'm so dependent on everything, I'm so like I rely on people for food and health and success and everything, and I can't hold myself together. But it's been 2.5 months and I'm still alive, so at least I've tried my very freaking best. But still, Pepper's got her friends, everybody's got their own plans, and I can barely survive. And I'm so very much alone, and it's still difficult for me to reach out to anyone. Um, and I don't know, I feel like the first 2.5 months here is just a rush of everything. Like, oh, I see people, speak to them. I see an opportunity, seize it. I see this, I do it. I see that, I do it. I see a supermarket, I buy food. If I see a bus, I get on it. I just do everything, but I never really slowed down to think what I'm actually doing and where I'm actually at in this life. I'm very much still just as lonely as I was before. I don't feel like I'm in a big group of friends. I don't feel like I found a footing. I don't feel like I mean, there's the church people, but they can't do much. Even though Jonah's really helpful to me and he's really nice, but I really just, there's no footing of sorts. So, yeah, anyways, I'll have a bit of cereal. That's the morning, that's supposed to be breakfast. And then not too long later, I'm gonna have maybe a bit of pasta again. Um, and then tonight I'll try the onion fried rice thing. Yeah. Time now is 3:54. So I woke up like, when did I wake up? 1. So for the last 2 hours or so, I didn't do anything at all. I just listened to music and played Minecraft. It's been a while since I've played Minecraft, a few months, and it's really good to go back. I went back to my school world, and it was fantastic. It was beautiful. And I was listening to a lot of music, just non-stop music, and I don't know, hoping to find some sort of feeling. And I was almost pushed to tears 3 times. I almost cried for 3 times. And I realized one thing. I know what I want to do. I want to draw. I want to draw Natalie. I want to draw Mary. And I think that's partially because they have changed so much that I really miss how they looked like when they were still there. And so I really want to draw. I just want to draw them. And I want to learn how to draw, and I think this would help me in filmmaking as well. Which is saying a lot. I'm not at the bottom of the barrel yet. If I still think I have a filmmaking future, I don't think I'm at the very bottom of the barrel yet. But I don't know, man. I just really want to draw faces. I want to draw people, and yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Alright, time now is 7:11 p.m. I'm gonna go change my clothes right now, go out, use a rice cooker, cook rice, take a photo of the rice, send a thank you message to my aunt, and yeah, so I had a 40-minute phone call with my mom. Honestly, I'm not really in the mood to, but I have nothing better to do right now. I mean, I have better things to do right now, obviously. I wanna, I wanna friggin', just do homework, but, yeah, I just don't have a lot to do, really. I did go drawing. I did go drawing. I did watch some YouTube drawing videos, and I drew a little bit on a piece of paper, which is quite nice. Starting from the basics, and I hope that in the future I would be able to draw faces. Yeah, I don't know. And then I spoke to Potter a little bit, and yeah, apparently Potter got a job. He's doing part-time at a restaurant. I don't know how. I kind of want to do that too, but I thought international students can't do that, so I'm gonna ask him about it. But that's basically that. Alright, let's open up the rice cooker. I don't know where to find a box cutter, so this is the best I got. Okay, come on. God damn it. Okay. This is it. Alright, rinsed the wash a couple times. I've used my own hand to put them in the rice cooker. Now I'm just gonna get a cup of water. Okay. Enough. In fact, I could lose a little more. Alright, and then boom. 1-to-1 ratio. This is so fucking useful. I love this. Alright. And then, finger test. Doesn't matter at this point. And then I've used a rice cooker once in my life. This is the second time I've used a rice cooker. And this is the fourth time I've cooked rice in my life. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how it works. I'm gonna do this. Lock it. Boop. And then right here it says rice. And then go. Is it doing anything? It's plugged. There's electricity. Okay. Okay, I can cancel it. And oh, this minutes. Okay, 4. I don't know. Let's say 4. Okay, it's doing its thing. Cool. Alright, chicken breast. It's still a piece of ice. I'm gonna maybe put it in some hot water first. It's 7:56. I put some hot water in the bag of chicken breast, and for some reason the hot water just spilled all over the area and it's all wet down there. Cut up the chicken breast very painfully on this cutting board. Also cut up some onions. Now steaming it. So yep, don't know. I'm pretty sure it's been more than 4 minutes, but I have no idea. I have no idea if it's working or not. Should I check? Can I check? I have no idea. I can't tell. It's not working. What the heck? It's not hot. It's a little bit warm, but it's not hot. Shit. What the fuck have I done wrong? I don't know what have I done wrong. Okay, it's making noise now. I did a little bit of research. Apparently preset means hours. So I set it to 4, it means 4 hours. I don't want that. So it's just rice and it's cooking now. Fully steamed, I'm pretty sure it's cooked inside out already completely. I seasoned it and then I'm going to add some oil and fry it after the rice is done. I don't know if this is the better way to cook chicken or not, but with a frozen piece of chicken breast, this is the only idea I've got. Onion ready, egg ready. Gonna make the egg fried rice. Turns out I still see a little pink at the sides. It's not fully cooked, so I'm cooking it on low heat again. You know, flipped it. Rice done. Very steamy and hot. I'm gonna crack an egg, put some onions there, fry it real quick. That's not enough rice. God damn it. Is it even hot enough? What the fuck? Here we go. My first attempt at egg fried rice with onions and sliced chicken breast. Hopefully it's not raw in the center. Let's try the fried rice first. Okay. Oh my god. It's not enough rice. It tastes like there's onions in every bite. But it's fine. I like onions, but wow. So much. Here's the chicken. Hey, it's cooked. It's cooked. Not bad. Thank God. Hold on. So, yeah, so I just, whew, oh my God. I just had, egg fried rice. And, there's so many onions in there. I just sneezed like 10 times. Oh my God. I thought
I underestimated. Ew. I underestimated the amount of onions that is in a quarter of an onion. Like, holy crap. And also, I underestimated the time to cook those onions because those onions are raw, man. And I ate another spoon, another spoon, another spoon. Every single spoon is just filled with onions. And I actually didn't finish all the onions. Oh. At the end, I just gave up. I threw away some. And I hate throwing away food because they're money, but I just can't. But yeah, it was a good meal, but oh my god, I need to eat something else later. Ugh, fuck. Alright, time now is March 13th, 10:26 p.m. It's actually supposed to be 9:26, but it's 10:26 now. Alright. Because of stupid springtime. Yeah, so it's a good thing I started eating dinner at around 8 something because that's literally 7 something. So stupid. Yeah, anyways, I don't know how should I feel. I don't know how do I feel right now. Obviously this morning I was quite sad, but it was like it's not the same kind of sadness, I'd say. I don't feel anything right now. I don't feel happy, I don't feel excited. I genuinely don't know how to feel. Like usually I just, you know, oh, I'm so torn. Cuz usually I feel something usually, you know? I feel happy or I feel sad or I feel interested, intrigued. I feel something usually, but I don't feel that right now. I don't feel it's not that I don't feel anything, it's just that the feeling I'm feeling is really complicated that it just cannot be put into words cuz that feeling of sort of this anger of everyone, this loneliness, this crying to myself from forms 4 and 5. I don't think I'll be able to feel that kind of feeling ever again in my life because it's just so specific. And people are different now. Um People are different now. Like if I say something mean to someone, like nothing that detrimental will happen. Whereas back in the good old secondary school days, like there's the drama and the people is just such a I don't know what's the right word. What am I even trying to think? What am I even trying to say? I don't really know what I'm trying to say right now. What I'm trying to say is I don't know what to feel right now. I don't feel necessarily sad, to be honest. Like I can still function, I can still eat, but I'm doing it without a purpose. I'm not excited about anything right now. Like I'm not excited about the future. There's nothing exciting about the future, in fact. Um, I thought when I came to USA, I thought 1 month here would make me full of friends. I would have over 200 Instagram followers, get a girl, you know. I thought I would find a lot of cool, like minded people, and I would be able to work on a lot of cool things. But no, no. What has happened to me so far is nothing but just hassles and nuisance, and at worst, threatening situations like the moving stuff that happened last week, last week. Um, and At best, nothing happens. Like, so far in the USA, I can't think of a single day that I enjoy, like, seriously enjoy. I haven't enjoyed a single day of my life since I came here. And it's not like I enjoy my life at all before I came here, but after I came here, I thought I would. But honestly, no. And at the same time, I don't feel depressed right now or anything. I'd like to. And this morning, I almost really convinced myself that I feel depressed and not have depression disorder, but feel depressed, just a feeling. But it's false. Like, sure, I listen to Radiohead, I look at old photos, and I go back to the school in Minecraft, and that is the best I can do. And it does bring me a level of sadness and nostalgia, but it's not strong enough to completely ruin me emotionally. Like, if you ask me right now, am I motivated to go to school and work and do everything right now? No, I'm not. I'm not motivated. I have no motivation right now. I just don't. I don't see any motivation. And if you ask me right now if I'm looking forward to the future, no, not at all. Like, whatever the case may be, it's not exciting. It doesn't sound exciting to me anymore. But if you ask me if I want to die right now, no. Not really, no. I want to live like again back in 2020 and 2021. Like, I want to live. I want to live a meaningful life, but I don't know. I don't find living exciting again, but in a different way. But I also don't want to die. Like, I still think I'm doing fine. Like, at the very present moment right now. Again, my feeling is so complicated. I can't really put it into words, but it's like I don't feel sad, and I don't feel that much pain right now. It's different from forms 4 and 5, where I would have these thoughts of, I'm a loser, I want to die, I'm a loser, nobody likes me, nobody needs me, and these thoughts will come again and again and again and again and again, like during PE class, during chemistry, during recess. I would just keep thinking these self-defeating thoughts, and those times were terrible. But I don't feel that way right now. Maybe it's because of my lack of social interactions. I mean, I've socially interacted way more in the last 2.5 months than I have in 2020 and 2021 combined. But that being said, though, I don't feel like people are being that toxic to me, other than my old host. But my first host, she isn't like, oh, you're fucking useless. She's like, you know, she's like, just being fucking stupid. I don't know how to feel right now. I really don't. I'm saying a lot of words and they don't mean anything. I don't know how to make sense of this. It's just like, I feel lost, and I don't care. I feel lost and I'm not feeling anxious from being lost. Let's say you're in a forest in the middle of nowhere. You have nothing. You have near nothing. Like, you have some food on you. You have a tent, and it's nothing all that great. And you're alone, and you're not anxious about leaving this forest. You're not anxious about being rescued. Being rescued is nice and all, but you're not anxious about it, and you just don't know what to do, and you don't like where you're at right now.
and you just sort of keep wandering around again and again. And I feel like I'm at that stage where I'm just on a barren wasteland. There's nothing in front of me, there's nothing behind me, there's nothing at both sides. I'm all alone, and I still have some food on me, and I can still survive, but there's just really no point to anything. But I don't want to die, I just want to keep walking, and that's the feeling right now. That's the best way I could describe it. Barren wasteland, but still have the will to live, but not excited about living at all. If that makes any sense. Yeah.